Chapter 5. Abstractions and Atrocities. A fog of chemical warfare blankets the forest ahead. We have left the city and the road is at its end. It is truly a marvel, the acts of the void. Extremes are what define us. A murderer is known for their murder, and saints are known for their good deeds. Porcelain bombs filled with fleas infested with AIDS, and anthrax fell on small towns and natural reserves. Such things concocted by the disturbed minds of the Imperial Japanese Army during World War II. To see them recreated in the final war, one so far ahead of that time. To know the void is without human morality more so than ever. There is no evil stronger than that which does not define itself as so. The little mites bounce from diseased body to body. The chemical gas finished the job. How long have these men and women suffered before they succumbed to toxic air that tears apart lungs in a frenzy? They scamper across eyes, half-eaten lids, and bubbling skin as raw as the surface of the sun. The void has been demonstrated in the form of its favorite vehicle, the war atrocity. The sunlight lies ahead. So far, this walk has been one of increasing macabre. Society labeled me as a psychopath. For injury, and the end of my own physical destruction was after I had doused bare feet in boiling water. I screamed, cried, laughed, and finally found myself aroused. A sick mind by humanity's standards. A strange choice for a martyr. I had taken 2 lives before I was caught. Both had been branded near countless times, and the news ran wild with the external bleeding of my disturbed psyche. Years of solitude inside a cell lead to me breaking down my own existence. I could not melt mine or anyone else's flesh. In as such, I melted the surface of my soul with my thoughts hot and blue, a spiritual pain that dwarfed scoldings of the physical. To trace a thought back to its inception is no easy quest. The first was defining where my violent urges had stemmed from. They had begun in hell, there was no doubt about that, and they had transpired from biblical terror to sexual fantasy. The primary consensus was that I suffered from a lack of mirror neurons. I, like most killers, could not empathize with the living or the dead. This I never felt was true. My empathy was misplaced, but it existed. It had its place as a concept of reality. I wished those whom I had killed shared my pleasure, and those whom I had not could understand it. Semiology-induced stimulation is an ultimate taboo amongst civilized society. Most humans define happiness as a shade of comfortableness, but I, unfortunately, felt differently. I did not quarrel with being locked up like a dog in a cage. There is little alternative for minds such as mine. The lobotomy is unethical, and rehabilitation impossible. Socialization and nature had failed me, and in turn I had failed the standards of society, an act of mutual destruction. Thomas Hobbes referred to the state of nature as a war of all against all. Harm is inherent within our system, an undying urge that must be satisfied through some means. The academics would label this as deterministic, but it is undeniable the hands and minds of the human are many things, both biological and immaterial, and violence exists in both states of matter. That is how I knew when the parasite had infected me. I lost my urge to scold, and no sexual pleasure is yearned for by me anymore. I kill because it appeases the parasite. To know the hive feels the minor flick of death also. I have been cured by the eater of reality. That is all it took. The mastication of the source architect of everything. There was a price to pay. I lost my inevitable determinism that plagues humankind like a swelling sore that spreads if the immune system even weakens for a second. Then you are new. I am fading. I feel it. The parasite is allowing me one last attempt at compartmentalizing existence, but it is not revealing if I am progressing or regressing. Trees bend into bridges with bark that peels like the skin of a snake, and leaves are without texture and drip carelessly overhead. The abstract has begun. Like Dante and Virgil, I am about to ascend into the deepest recesses of the void. The blurring haze dissipates, and I emerge from the oasis of deforming nature. I hear the parasite's presence return, and I no longer remain as an I, but a we. Chapter 6. The Wheel of Human Consensus. There lies a mass of thriving interwoven